So we'll continue this interview. Please tell us, Visa, about your experiences. You told me earlier about Peter and Eve, these star people that you met and talked and hanged out with in England at the same
Yes.
time.
Well, it was. They have this way to introduce themselves. It's not so dramatic. It always happens a bit slowly, like it happened with Tepi. It's sort of a process. They don't come to it. Hello, we are the star people. How are you today? It that's not how it works. So I have to
Yes.
tell you what happened. Uh, I was a young boy, so I hung around in the city quite a lot in the evenings. But I didn't have much money, so I didn't sort of always sit in a pub. And there were sort of coffee places where I met people and other foreign students. There were a lot of them in that town. And one night, well, I was one of these coffees, and there was, because I got to know some English young people too, so I wasn't just hanging out with other students. And there was this rather quiet man, English man, who was a bit older than me. I somehow knew him, just met occasionally, but I didn't really know him in that sense. And when I left out, he came after me outside, and he knew my name, and he said, I have something to tell you. Could you come tomorrow to the town, like in the afternoon, we could meet. There's somebody you should meet. And I was a bit sort of, well, that's a bit strange. I mean, I was a foreign young guy, and why somebody wants to meet me. But I wasn't any like suspicion of anything bad happened, so I went, and it was on the street that this is a funny thing that every time I met these people, Peter and Eva, we always met on the street, so I didn't never could go behind their door, sort of knocking on the door. We always met on the street, and had a little walk like this first time. And it was a man and a woman. The man was dark-haired, very nice-looking, dark eyes. The woman was fairer, lighter hair, but lighter brownish eyes. But they, like Tepi, looked a bit different, like somehow foreign, but they looked like quite typical English, well-educated, well-doing couple, sort of, not high, sort of high-class people, but average people in a way. But the minute I met them, I sort of liked it. Who are these? So that they were so brilliant, this feeling about them. Again, I started to think that these must be some people from some secret occult thing or something like that. They're so great.
Did they explain to you about themselves, about anything about where they
Well, we're
come
getting to
from?
this because then we had a little walk, and they said, would you like to come inside? That we lived there, and they lived in a flat apartment, like I think it was the third floor or something. Nice area, and we went inside, and I think we had just a cup of tea, in English way, and just started to talk, and there was a little bit of, there was a kind of a change in them when we went inside, and this guy who introduced me to them, he came inside, but he left quite soon, just in a few minutes. That I have to go. So we was like just three of us. And I have to say it now, when I remember it, they usually sat so that not like beside each other. So there was always a triangle. I noticed that they always did it because that's a very good for energy flow.
Mm.
The people are in triangle. But that I realized later. So we started to talk and things got a little bit more spiritual. And then I told them that I met this really peculiar man in the boat when I came here to England. And I realized they went sort of quiet, they were watching me. And I said, yeah, this man was really strange. That he showed these pictures of UFOs, and I said something like, I don't think he was from this planet at all. And they were watching me carefully. And then Peter said, Lisa, you should know that it was very important that you met him. I was, well,
So they knew who he was.
yeah, that's I realized. So then I said, okay, so you know about him. And Eve was sitting there. I had to tell a little bit about her. And she said sort of, he's on us. That was a striking moment in my life. Then I just realized, now I'm sitting here drinking tea with Starpeople. I was just thinking about it. Eve was sort of very carefully observing me. She did like this and smiled and about to my thought because she knew what I was thinking. And then the whole thing was open. This was the kind of introduction they do, slowly, carefully, and then openly. Well, here comes the hard part, because I met them several times, and there happened a lot of things. We did one trip outside of town, and yes, they had a car, just an earthly car. It was not the latest model Austin, but it was in good condition. And we went somewhere, but I don't know where. This is the hard part because I can't sort of put my memories in a like chronological order or anything. I have sort of bits and pieces what happened, and I try to tell as much as I can about it. Once they gave me some, they always asked first everything. I was never sort of fooled or tricked or anything like that.
They were like cordial to you and warm, frank,
Yeah,
candid.
yeah. That's the word. And we became friends. That's just like I felt about Tepi. He was a friend. As little as I saw him, and these people became my friends, and I trusted them. And in a way, I feel that also these star people that live among us, it's a joyful moment for them to really reveal themselves to some earthlings like me, because it doesn't happen too much. It happens. I'm not the only one. I know that. There's been many people that have experienced the things that I have, same kind of things all over the world. But it's not like tens or 10,000s, but I think thousands would be really close, or hundreds. I don't know.
Did you talk about what star system they came from, or about their motives, or things
I
like
never
that?
asked them that kind of questions.
Yes.
That's probably because I told earlier that I was a little bit trained to these spiritual things, and I've learned that when you contact with somebody who is spiritually higher than you, it's not important what you want to know. It's important what you need to know. And I've learned to sort of shut up, and they tell you what you need to know. And that's why I didn't ask many questions. I have some idea where they were from, but they weren't. Tepi was from another planet than they. So there are people living among us that could be.
So they were star people in human form.
I think it's their natural form. They are like that. It wasn't like the sort of shape shifting thing at all. They are like that. They look like us. We have to come to this later. They gave me once, Eve told me that they have some sort of a drink they want to kill me. And they said it's going to have effects on you, believe me. He was a very nice person because I don't know about Peter, I think he was a kind of a leader in some kind of a process they were doing here. That was my impression. But Eve was more like a healer or something, a doctor or something like that. She told me it was kind of like water, but I think it was just filled with prana, this etheric energy or something. And it really had consequences on me.
So they somehow activated your body and soul with this kind of a magic potion or drink.
Yeah, if you put it that way, yeah, a magic potion.